In 1852, in the city of Berlin, two players sat down for a casual game of chess. Neither of them knew they were about to create one of the most beautiful games in history. A game so brilliant, so timeless, it earned the nickname the Evergreen Game. Today, I'll walk you through every single move, and by the end, you'll understand the genius behind it. Let's go. Now, let's play. White opens with e4, the most popular, active, and romantic first move. It instantly fights for the center. Black mirrors with e5, just as good as White's move. The battle for the center begins. Now knight to f3, developing a piece and attacking the e5 pawn at the same time. We call this developing with tempo. Black defends with knight to c6, protecting e5 and developing too. Textbook chess so far. Here comes the bishop to c4, and look closely, it's aiming straight at f7, the weakest square in Black's camp, defended only by the king. Black copies with bishop to c5, placing his bishop on a powerful diagonal too. The tension starts to rise. And here it comes, the move that defines the whole game, pawn to b4. This is the famous Evans Gambit, all the rage in 1852. White throws away a pawn on purpose. He wants to grab the center with c3 and d4, gaming time and powerful diagonals. Black accepts with bishop takes b4. And remember, when facing a gambit, you usually should take the pawn. Otherwise, you get pushback for nothing. Now pawn to c3, attacking the bishop and preparing the big push d4. Black retreats to a5, keeping the bishop active and still eyeing the action. White's plan is coming together fast. There it is, pawn to d4. White builds the dream center, pawns on e4 and d4. But Black strikes back instantly with pawn takes d4, smashing that perfect center before it gets too strong. White castles, getting the king safe and unpinning the c-pawn. Black plays pawn to d3, giving the pawn back to slow White down. But careful, this wastes time that should be used to develop and castle. In chess, every move counts. White's queen jumps to b3, developing and aiming straight at that weak f7 square again. Black answers queen to f6, defending f7. Two queens, both eyeing the same weakness. The pressure builds. Now the e-pawn charges to e5, gaining space and attacking the black queen, winning time. Black retreats the queen to g6, defending the d3 pawn. White is slowly taking over the whole board. White brings the rook to e1, developing it. Black plays knight to e7, finally getting ready to castle and bring his king to safety. He needs to hurry. White's bishop swings to a3, a beautiful diagonal, attacking the knight on e7. But now, Black makes a questionable choice. Pawn to b5, sacrificing a pawn to open lines. The problem? It just doesn't work well enough. Simply castling here would have kept Black totally fine. White happily grabs the free pawn with queen takes b5. Black hits back with rook to b8, attacking the queen and using the open b-file. The tension is real now. The queen steps back to a4, staying safe. Black plays bishop to b6, saving the bishop and dealing with the threat on e7. Both sides are circling for the knockout. White develops his final minor piece with knight to d2. Almost everything is in the game now. But Black plays bishop to b7, a great diagonal, yes, but he still hasn't castled. And that mistake is about to become fatal. This was his last good chance. White plays knight to e4, a monster square. It blocks the black queen and prepares to win the d3 pawn. But now, Black blunders with queen to f5. This move is totally pointless. Why is the queen better on f5 than on g6? It's not. Black should now be crushed. White grabs the pawn with bishop takes d3, and this bishop now points right at the black queen, threatening knight to f6 with check. Black's queen runs to h5, but the noose is already tightening. Now, knight to f6, check. A bold knight sacrifice to rip open the g-file. Black has to take with pawn takes f6, because the queen is also under attack, so refusing the knight isn't even possible. The position is exploding open. White recaptures with pawn takes f6, and black grabs the open g-file with rook to g8. For the first time in the game, even white's king starts to feel some pressure. The tension is unbearable. And here, watch closely, rook to d1, a move of pure genius. Anderssen doesn't rush. He calmly brings his last piece into the attack, anticipating the coming sacrifices on e7 and d7. Remember this lesson, friends. Leave no piece behind. Black goes for the counterattack with queen takes f3, threatening white's own king. It looks scary, but Anderssen has already seen much further. Rook takes et, check. A stunning sacrifice. Anderssen has seen the coming checkmate. He throws his rook into the fire to drag the black king out into the open. Black captures the rook with knight takes e7, probably not even seeing what's about to happen. The move that made this game immortal. Queen takes dc, check. Anderssen sacrifices his queen. He drags black's king straight into a double check that forces checkmate. This is one of the most beautiful moves ever played on a chessboard. Black must take the queen with king takes d7. Bishop to f-wool, check. The correct double check. The bishop and the rook both attack the king at once. Black runs to e8, trying to hide, but there's no escape. Bishop to dc, check, pushing the king to a fatal square. The king staggers to f8, completely surrounded. And the final blow, bishop takes et, checkmate. A beautiful finish to a fantastic game. Anderssen sacrificed a rook and his queen to deliver one of the most elegant checkmates in history. That, my friends, is why this is called the Evergreen Game. Forever fresh, forever inspiring.